You're listening to the Fitness Matters podcast with Paula B, and this is episode number 51. What do you deserve? Well, hello, my friends. Happy whatever day it is that you're listening to this. Might be Sunday, might be another day of the week, might be any old time at all, no matter what day or time it is. Hello and welcome to the Fitness Matters podcast, where every week we talk about the fitness matters that matter to you and to me, because this one hit home. This one came about not because of, well, it was kind of because of something that you guys said on social media, which is how I get a lot of my topics for the podcast. I will read something that you say in a comment or over in the Killer Beehive, which is my personal, private, super supportive, interactive Facebook group. But this one came out of my own brain because of comments that you were making about me. And I know that sounds super funny, and I'm going to get to it really, really quickly here, because here's what happened. Really recently, I got my silver play button, which is the reward that YouTube gives you. It's literally a plaque that has a silver play button. It looks just like the play button that you click when you're on YouTube. And I received that because I got 100,000 subscribers, which is the first milestone that YouTube actually acknowledges. And the next one they acknowledge, just so you know, like this is how YouTube is, they go from 100,000 to 1 million. And then after 1 million, then you get like different play buttons and stuff. But they consider 1 million kind of like, oh, totally doable, which is so funny because, I mean, I'm still working on my mindset about getting that goal. And this is where this all kind of comes together. I got my silver play button. I posted pictures of it on YouTube and Facebook, and you guys said the nicest things. I mean, literally hundreds of comments about, oh, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. This is so well deserved. You totally deserve this. And I was totally fine with the accolades, like the first dozen, or maybe even like 2 dozen. Like, it was really nice. It was really sweet. I was like, oh, this is so lovely. Feels so good to have people compliment me. And like, it was really nice. And then like, the more I was reading the comments, the more my stomach was kind of churning. I felt kind of embarrassed about all the attention and everybody saying that I deserved this reward. And I mean, technically, logically, yeah, I did. I got 100,000 subscribers, so I got the silver play button. Like it wasn't about not deserving the reward in a very legitimate and objective sense. But there was definitely an emotional level to that word deserve that I was a little bit uncomfortable with. And I thought about it afterwards, like, why in the world was this problematic for me? And I'll be honest, at the time, I kind of let it go. But I knew that it was a something. I knew it was something I needed to kind of tuck away and think about at some point. So I put it on my list of podcast topics, and, it got to it this week. So when I was getting ready to record this podcast, I was thinking about how to approach the topic. And I mean, let me start with how I'm going to approach the topic. I'm going to read Webster's dictionary definition of what the word deserve means. And then I am going to talk about what we tell ourselves and why that word is hard to believe and what happens when we don't believe it. And so I was thinking about all of these things, and so I'm going to start telling you about all of this stuff so that we can discover together what happens with that word deserve. Because I don't think it's something that you think to yourself a lot. It's not necessarily like, oh, I deserve to get my goal. Or even in a very conscious way, like, I don't deserve to get my goal. But it is a word that has a lot of emotional impact and therefore impacts everything you do and the results you get. Because as you well know, because I have told you, and I'm going to reference this particular episode, almost every episode we ever have, I tell you to go and listen to the episode How to Change, because it really lays out for you how to change and how we work on making changes in our lives, because your thoughts create your feelings, which drives your actions, and actions are how we get results. So whether or not you are thinking really specifically this thought of I deserve or I don't deserve, it really does affect you. And here's why. The word deserve, according to the dictionary, means to have the qualities worthy of reward or punishment. And I was thinking about this, how easy it is for me personally. And I mean, this is something that I think every time we do any kind of a podcast topic, I notice when I'm telling you things, how very easy it is for me to go to the dark side, for how very easy it is for me to have the negative thoughts. When I think of deserving, the first phrase that came to my mind is when somebody is, let's say, not a nice person, in my opinion, and something bad happens to them. It's like, aha, got what he deserved. You know, like that's super, super easy. It's also, honestly, it's kind of easy, maybe not as easy as thinking that somebody got what they deserved in a bad way, but it's kind of easy. Obviously, it was easy for all of you to tell me that I deserved something good happening to me. I think it's very easy to attribute this quality of worthiness, worthy of reward or punishment, to other people. Somebody else, they seem nice. Of course they deserve the reward. Of course they deserve to have nice things happen to them. Somebody else seems like not a nice person. Well, of course they deserve to have bad things happen to them. Like, it seems very simple with regard to other people. And we don't think about how often we're kind of putting that judgment, and even in the positive sense, like somebody else being nice and they deserve good things to happen to them. That's still a judgment. That's still an opinion, which of course is going to lead me to talk to you about the episode Facts versus Opinions. There's lots of good stuff, you guys. Lots of good stuff in the archives if you have not listened to those episodes. But when we have an opinion about somebody and we pass this judgment, again, good or bad, positive or negative, we are assigning worthiness. And that is a really fascinating thing to do. Because here's the real truth of it. Every single one of us is born worthy of every good thing at all. And that's just not even like an opinion. That is simply the way things are. We are all worthy because we're here, because we exist, because we're alive. That isn't a question of worthiness, and yet we all ask ourselves about it. And in very subtle ways, we ask ourselves about our own worth. We judge our own self-worth all the time. All the time. And I think for lots of us, we'd even put out the opinion that sounds like a fact that it's so easy to be negative about our self-worth. It might feel very easy to you to be negative about your self-worth, but I want to talk about what happens when we think that. Not just about being easy to dismiss your self-worth, but the actual self-worth part, the deserving part. When you say to yourself in these exact words or something else that just kind of pokes holes in your ability to believe in your own self-worth, here's what happens. Your thought, I don't deserve to get my goal, creates a feeling in you. For me personally, when I was doing this exercise, the feeling that thought creates, I don't deserve to get my goal, made me feel sad. Now, you might have another nuance on it. Feel free to actually listen to that sentence in your mind, think about your goal, and then think the thought, I don't deserve to get that goal. How does that make you feel? You might feel angry. You might feel disappointed. You might feel frustrated. I felt sad. Sad for me kind of encompassed a lot of different types of negativity. I can almost guarantee, no matter what your nuance is, that it is not a positive emotion that evokes in you. And if you are thinking, oh no, that totally makes me feel fired up and ready to go, I strongly suspect that there's another thought that you're having immediately after the thought, I don't deserve to get my goal, that's helping you reach a positive emotion. Because that thought, I don't deserve to get my goal, it elicits negative emotions. For me, sad. So when I'm sad, when I'm sad, I end up not doing things. When I'm sad, I sit on the couch. I kind of ruminate over and over about things that make me sad, either this particular thing about not deserving to get my goal or other things that might have nothing to do with it. For me, sadness sort of evokes more sadness. Sadness sometimes in me will lead to not doing things that I would ordinarily care about. So not doing things like, depending on my goal, like not going for a run, or not eating my target calories, or not drinking enough water, or not preparing for whatever it is that is my goal. For me, that feeling of sadness is all about avoidance. The kinds of activities that drives in me are actually non-activities, not doing things. And what happens when you don't do the things that are going to get you to your goal? My friends, you don't get your goal. So you create for yourself a situation in which you are not getting your goal because of the thought, I don't deserve to get my goal. Let me run through that again really quickly. The thought, I don't deserve to get my goal, creates the feeling of sadness. The feeling of sadness drives the action of avoiding doing the things that would get my goal, which therefore creates the result of not getting my goal. But what would happen if I thought and believed? Now, I'm gonna clarify this one, because you can have this thought all day long. I deserve to get my goal. But again, if there's another thought immediately after that thought that's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. This is a lie. That's BS. You know, that second thought is the one that's going to create emotions and drive actions and get your results. If you think and believe, truly believe deep in your heart, I deserve to get my goal. Think about what that would feel like. Like, picture yourself believing it. Picture yourself believing it about something that maybe you've already done. This is the easiest way to kind of follow this one through. Because when you believe, I deserve to get my goal, doesn't that make you feel like really confident and empowered? For me personally, when I think I deserve to get this goal, I feel fired up. I feel excited. I feel confident. I feel empowered. I feel ready to go. From that feeling of empowerment, that's going to drive all kinds of actions, positive actions, things like actually doing the tasks that are going to get me to my goal. When I feel empowered because I'm thinking I deserve to get my goal, I sit down at my desk, I write out the notes to make a podcast for you. I think about my next videos. I create thumbnails. I answer comments. I get all fired up about having 1 million subscribers and getting that gold play button, which, by the way, I deserve. Those actions, doing the daily tasks that move you towards your goal, what's that going to do? What kind of result are you going to get for that? I know you know. Of course, you're going to get your goal. You are going to create a situation in which your goal is inevitable because you deserve it. You deserve to get your goal. You had that thought. You believed that opinion. When you can think and believe that you deserve because you are worthy, it makes getting your goal inevitable. Like, it's almost ridiculous how, I'm going to say, easy it is to move forward when you have that believable thought. But here's the tricky thing. That doesn't really sound super believable right now, right? Like, say it to yourself. I deserve to get my goal. I am worthy of getting my goal. Why isn't that believable for you? And that's a real question. Why isn't that believable right now? And when I ask you that question, I'm, of course, going to ask you, I'm going to give you a task. I'm going to tell you that you need to make a list. You need to write it down. Because here's the thing. When you're listening, I know that sometimes when you're listening, in fact, probably frequently when you're listening, because this is a podcast, you're doing something else. You are, out for a walk or a run, you're doing dishes, you're cleaning your house, you're driving your car, you're doing something else. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You need to actually sit down with a pen and paper and ask yourself why that thought isn't believable. Because whether or not you are thinking that exact thought, the I don't deserve or I'm not worthy, there's something along those lines going on in your head. When we talk about, it's my self-worth, of course I should work on it, my self-esteem, my self-talk, I should really get to work on it. It's not a I should really get to work on it situation. It is the reason why you will get your goal. Having a believable thought about your worthiness, your deservingness, is the thing that will move you towards your goal. So this isn't just a little throw away, let's think about it, that's sweet, no big deal sort of a thing. This is critical information. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. This is why I know it's critical information. When you guys were saying those nice things to me, you so deserve this, congratulations, about my silver play button, I had a very squirmy feeling inside, a very, this is nice, but I also don't kind of like it. And I had thought maybe it was about getting compliments, maybe it was something about that. When I sat down to do this podcast and I was thinking about what to tell you, and I was deciding, hey, this is a question that you really need to ask yourself. And I was thinking to myself, I need you, not me, I need you to really ask yourself this question. Why doesn't this feel believable? And I thought to myself, I had a pen and paper in my hand because I was taking notes for this. I thought to myself, hey, you know what, Paula, you never asked yourself that question. Perhaps you should. So I asked myself, when I think about my worthiness, my deservingness, why isn't that believable? And I had squirmed away from this question for a while now. I had simply put it to the side. I'll put that on the podcast topics list. That's very interesting. I'll have to consider that. I had really, honestly, almost completely finished writing the notes. I had already grabbed my recorder to record this episode when I realized that I had not really legitimately asked myself this question. Why don't I believe I deserve to get my goal? And you know what came out of my pen? Because I started writing it down, the very first thing that popped into my head was because I'm stupid. How hilarious is that? That thought, for long-term listeners, that thought is so old. That thought has come up again and again and again and again. And I already know that I don't believe that thought anymore. And yet there is my brain offering it to me again in a different situation. My brain offers me this all the time. For those of you who are not long-time listeners, my brain offers me this thought all the time in so many situations. And it is actually really funny now because I've done the work on this thought. I used to believe that I was stupid because I heard it in my head all the time. Of course, I can't do that because I'm stupid. Duh. like as though it were a fact. It is, in fact, not a fact. It's simply an opinion. It's an opinion that somebody probably expressed to me a long time ago that I then practiced over and over and over and over and over. My brain believed it because I practiced it so much. My brain got super efficient at thinking it. It started offering it to me in all kinds of situations, including this one. As soon as I heard that thought, I wrote it down. It's on my notes. As soon as I heard that thought and wrote it down, I started laughing. This is so funny to me at this point because I've done the work. I've done the work on the thought because I'm stupid. I already know I'm smart enough to get what I want. I just simply heard the thought, the because I'm stupid thought, and I said, That's what my brain is offering me in this situation. That is what is creating that squirmy feeling. Because when somebody else is telling me I deserve this reward, somewhere deep in my brain that I did not hear consciously at all, I was thinking, no, I don't, because I'm stupid. But now I know I'm smart enough to get what I want. I'm smart enough to deserve getting my goal. When you sit down with a pen and paper and ask yourself, why aren't I worthy? Why don't I believe that I deserve to get my goal? You are going to have in front of you a list of thoughts that your brain is offering you. And I want to be really, really clear here. It's very clear for me because I've already done the work on that thought because I'm stupid. It might not be clear to you. You are going to hear things that sound like the truth because I'm too old, because I've never done it before, because I'm not good at this, because I have a family history, because. You are going to hear thoughts. They are opinions and not facts. Every single thing that you write down on your list of why I don't deserve to get my goal is an opinion and not a fact. And there is your work, my friend. Because here's the thing, you probably don't consciously or maybe even subconsciously really think the thought, I don't deserve to get my goal. But you've seen what happens when you think, I don't deserve to get my goal. It drives the feeling, or it creates the feeling of sadness or something like that. It drives the actions of avoiding doing all the things that you would do to get your goal, which therefore creates the result of not getting your goal. All of the things in your list, all of the reasons in heavy air quotes, that you think you can't deserve or aren't worthy of getting your goal, all of those thoughts need to be addressed. Write them down. Take a look at them. Shine a bright light on them. And go listen to the episode about practicing new thoughts because that is where you're going to do your work. Those thoughts feel deeply entrenched. They feel believable. We got to dig them up at the root, wiggle them loose, and get them out of your head. They're not serving you. What will serve you is the thought that you deserve to get your goal. I know I've given you homework again, because that's what I do sometimes. I almost always ask you to make a list. Have you noticed this? Again, longtime listeners have several lists now from these podcasts. Whatever you are doing right now while you are listening, please finish doing it. Finish driving. Drive safely, etc. Finish your walk, finish your run, finish your cleaning, finish your whatever. But take the time and write down with a pen and paper or pencil paper or whatever. Write down the thoughts that are stopping you from believing that you deserve to get your goal. Because my friend, you deserve to get your goal. Thank you so much for listening today. I'll talk to you next time. So are you totally loving this mindset work and you really want to do it every day in order to get your goal? Then my friend, you need to join the Get Your Goal group. It is my personal and private, very interactive coaching and accountability group where every day we talk about your mindset and we get your goal. You can learn all about it at paulabfitness.com/get-your-goal. I'll see you in the goal group.